So the IDF released a video of the October 7th attack on Israeli civilians by Hamas. And the big question is, why did it take? Now, this is what all the anti-Semites are saying, okay? You know, all the people who blame the Jews for everything going on in the world. Their local sheriff kills some innocent child, and somehow the Jews are responsible for it. I mean, you know, whatever it is, they just blame Jews for everything. Anyhow, the big question is, how come it took more than 7 hours for the Israeli defense, the IDL, to respond? Okay. Why did it take so long for them to respond? Okay, so first of all, these terrorists were dressed as Israeli soldiers, okay? They were dressed as Israeli soldiers. Now, I live in the United States. It took more than 9 days, 9 full days, for the National Guard to come in and start rescuing people after Hurricane Katrina. So 7 hours is a pretty fast response, a lot faster than the United States. But if this was to happen in the United States, if a bunch of terrorists were to dress up in National Guard uniforms, costumes, and they started beating people, dragging civilians out of their cars, zip tying them and throwing them in the back of vans, the average citizen would believe this was just a regular drug arrest, like some kind of drug raid or something like that. It happens every day in the United States. Over 1,000 people are killed by law enforcement officers every year in the United States. It's almost 3 people per day are killed in the United States. So it's kind of natural for that to happen. So if this was to happen here, it would take our National Guard well over 7 hours to respond. Well, I mean, they don't even, it took them 9 days to come into New Orleans. And the big reason for that, what they said afterwards, was fear. They feared that civilians was going to start shooting at them, and that's why they took so long. So this is not an adequate excuse, or I should say an adequate conspiracy theory that, of course, the Israeli government was behind October 7th because it took them 7 hours for their military to respond to a group of men who were dressed up like Israeli Defense League uniforms. I mean, how did they even know who was who at first? So yeah, I'm surprised it took only 7 hours for them to contain and then push this invasion, what it was, an invasion, to push it back. So here's some more numbers. They spent over $300 $1 million, or was it 300 billion, with this deportation thing going on in the United States. And in the New Orleans area, they arrested 350 something people so far to deport. And they spent millions and millions of dollars, and there's countless number of personnel out there. It takes time to do stuff like that, to drive people out and whatnot. So the whole theory that the Israeli government had to be behind October 7th just because it took 7 hours for the IDL to respond is not an adequate explanation for that. Not at all. And like I said, if this was to happen here, it would take longer than 7 hours. I mean, can you imagine the chaos of over 1,000 people dressed up as National Guard troops grabbing and killing? We would think that it's part of the deportation, the ICE operation that they have going on. Yeah, I want to say it was $300 billion they allocated for the deportation fiasco that's going on here. lots of money, lots of time, lots of resources to round up so few people. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because they only arrested 350 people. Imagine grabbing over 1,000 armed men who were dressed up in the same uniforms as the people trying to detain them. So that's the type of confusion that the October 7th incident had. I mean, it's just, there was a whole lot of confusion, and 7 hours was a very quick response, if you ask me. And like I said, it took over 9 days to start rescuing people in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. So no, it is not a good enough story for you conspiracy theories. Come up with something a little better.